Be sure to subscribe for your chance to win a custom leather playmat when we hit 2,500 subscribers. Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Mass. We play live over Discord every Wednesday and Friday. We've got Ben on Humans versus Tyler on Ant. I'm not sure if Humans is like an actual deck in Legacy, but Ben is putting up fantastic results with it, and it shares a lot of DNA with Death and Taxes, but it just has a bit more punch, I guess you'd say. Like, it can really overwhelm decks rapidly, and a lot of the power boosts come from +1/+1 counters. We've got a turn 2 Thalia, which is just the worst case scenario for Storm. +1/+1 counters just not helpful for the Oko players in the room. They try and get rid of a creature by elking it, and then it has some counters on it. I mean, that is not going to work out very well. And of course, Mother of Runes shuts down any type of Oko plan anyways. So this is going to be a tough start for many, many decks in the format. A Mother of Runes into a Thalia. If you don't win before that Thalia hits, it's just a lot to deal with. Oh, and Meddling Mage? Are you kidding? We'll see if Tyler scoops here. And he actually does. Perhaps indicating that he doesn't have access to an Empty the Warrens in the main. But that is it. I'm actually not a huge fan of Empty in the main. Usually you don't see Meddling Mage in the main, though. And that is a one-hit KO type situation for many ad nauseum decks. And many combo decks in general, that's just far too much to deal with. Meddling Mage and Gaddock Teeg are both... I mean, Gaddock Teeg is a little more common in the main because you can just have a single copy in Green Sun Zenith for it, but just in general, those type of bears, when they're main deck, I mean, they're just stealing games when they show up in the matchups where they're great. Alright, we skipped over the sideboarding. This could be a really fast one. Either way, I mean, if Ben gets out with the same type of start, that may just be too much for Tyler. He may have to mulligan to a hand, which is incredibly explosive. Now, the upside here is Humans doesn't have, in all likelihood, access to Force of Will. It's got those Meddling Mages, but that's probably about it. For blue cards, not really enough to support it. Most of it's going to be white. You're going to have Champion of the Parish and Thalia's Lieutenant. And of course, we saw that Rainbow Mana Base. Does make the deck very different than Death and Taxes in that regard, as you can just get annihilated by like Blood Moon effects, whereas Death and Taxes pretty resilient against that. Lots of basic planes. I just like this playmat more and more. To praise my own handiwork, but I really like the way that looks on camera. This homage to Mox Jet. We've got a Ponder. Mother of Runes. If not answered now, you're not going to be answering it. And the types of like super spicy cards that can handle Death and Taxes, you know, things like Massacre, may not be a possibility here. Ben may not actually have any planes at all in the deck. Oh, Mother of Runes just going to have to sit by and watch. We are likely headed to game number 3. Tyler, Chain of Vapor, bouncing Lotus Petal, sacking a land, bouncing the Mother of Runes, replaying the Lotus Petal into a Lion's Eye Diamond, Dark Ritual, Infernal Tutor, and I believe we're going to be seeing an Empty the Warrens here. It's going to be exactly 4 mana in the pool. Empty, much stronger in the sideboard for these types of matchups where it's very possible that a Lethal Tendrils is just not going to be feasible, being able to empty for a lot of unglued goblins and then capping off those stacks with the, I believe, Legions player reward token. A first strike Thalia is going to take out one of these goblins, but these are all turning sideways, and it's going to be one more swing. Unless Ben has some type of board sweeper, we are on to game 3. And Ben's going to have to be concerned about the empty. Though I'll tell you, Death and Taxes Stoneforge Mystic into Batterskull, it's pretty complicated for Empty the Warrens piles, or Empty the Warrens numbers, like how many Goblin tokens you need to beat a turn 1 Mother of Runes and then a turn 2 Stoneforge Mystic with a Batterskull. I mean, it gets pretty grim. Being on the player of the draw is super, super important. Mother of Runes being able to protect herself, incredibly important there. That was always a thing in Stoneblade with Death and Taxes. I'm sorry, with Stoneblade with Deathrite Shaman. And very often, like, spot removal would be just backbreaking in those spots. Like game 1, if you had like a fatal push or something. It is surprising how close those plays can end up being. We've got a champion of the parish. And he can get pretty big pretty fast. But Ad Nauseam can certainly go faster. We'll see what type of Hate Bear might come down on turn 2, if there is a turn 2. And a Thoughtseize gets to see I believe a Mindbreak Trap and a Mother of Runes and a Thalia's Lieutenant. So Mindbreak Trap gonna be the choice in all likelihood, unless Tyler has just a bunch more discard. Nope, Trap is taken. And, oh, a Thalia off the top. Unless I misread that hand. Champion of the Parish getting bigger. And that Thoughtseize really, really wanted to prevent a Thalia or a Meddling Mage from landing. We got a 2-mana Preordain, and that is just not a playable Magic card. I mean, nobody's going to sleeve up a 2-mana sorcery to Preordain. That is simply not good enough. There are a lot of cards that if you tack on 1 mana, they're fine, but cantrips are just not one of them. You know, a Jace the Mind Sculptor at 5, and a Lurin at 5, like, that's not the worst. But these 1-mana spells, making them cost double is just such a ridiculous increase. And we've got another Champion of the Parish, and then a Mother of Runes. And it's going to be like 6 damage coming in here. It's looking grim for Tyler. The top of the deck, very kind for Ben. I think the Thalia's Lieutenant in hand will be lethal. I mean, Tyler just doesn't have many options here. Even if he has Massacre, there's no planes to enable the free casting cost. Which can happen against Death and Taxes, too. There are actually a kind of crazy amount of games where Death and Taxes doesn't have a plains. It feels like it should never happen, but there are a bunch of them. Rashadenport, Wasteland, Cavern of Souls, and many of the builds. Aether Vial, usually part of those games. But here we go. Values Lieutenant pumping the whole team up, and Ben taking it down against a very difficult matchup and a skilled player in Tyler. But humans, I don't know. What do you guys think? Is it the real deal? Is it just a deck that Ben's got a lot of reps with? Do you think this is something that should be seeing some more play, luring some modern players into the format? Let me know what you think about it in the comments. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.